Hey everybody, welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm the host of the show, Mark, and you're watching Whiskey Review number 220. Tomintoul Speyside Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. The first on the show. Really excited about that too. It's been great having a whole bunch of new single malt Scotch whiskies, world whiskies, Canadian whiskies, bourbon whiskies on the show. And now again, we've got a new to me, new Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey. Now look at this great set I picked up in Japan. It's got the 10-year-old, the 16-year-old, and the 25-year-old. I've also got the 12-year-old Oloroso Sherry Cask Finish. Put that there. And then also, really excited about this one too, Tomintoul with a peaty tang. This is probably the coolest name in the Scotch whiskey industry, with a peaty tang. Anyway, we're going to try the 10-year-old today. And I will present the 16 and the 25, the 12, and the peaty tang in due time over the next few weeks. Let's get that one opened. Very nice little set. Perfect for a gift, either for your loved ones or for yourself, like me. All right, so let's get that 10-year-old out of there. There it is. And if you're looking on my little table here, you're wondering what the heck that is. It's not perfume. This is an ancient, this is a, what year? Sometime around 1990, this came out. This was when Tomintoul, Speyside Glenlivet, was owned by White and Mackay, who were then owned by some other company called American Brands. Anyway, the present owners, Angus Dundee, they bought the distillery in the year 2000. And they went from this, what can we call that? It is an eye-catching bottle. It's distinctive. It's really wild. It's so distinctive. This is the only bottle in the history of Scotch whiskey, I would say. Anyway, they went from that one to the more standard, sensible, regular bottle shape. So there we go. All right, so this is the 10-year-old. I don't know very much about this 10-year-old. Now, I should probably tell you a little bit about this distillery first. It was founded in 1964 and changed hands many times until I mentioned it to you, to White and Mackay in 1989. So relatively young distillery. I think that's enough. Maybe a little bit more. There, we're about halfway in there. And this is 40% ABV. No mention as to color, so that'll be up to you to figure that out. But let's have a look at the color. See what you see. What do you see? And well, what do I see? This is pretty much a straight up golden hue, isn't it? Very nice. Let's have a look at the legs, the tears. Scottish tears. And what an aroma this has already. Very fresh, very fruity. Being a Speyside, that's what I would expect. Fairly quick legs. Look how quickly that drops down. And yet you're still left with quite a little bit on the glass. So that's good. I mean, of course it's been chill filtered, but it looks like they haven't gone crazy with the chill filtering. Yeah, very thin viscosity. It's 40%. Now that's the minimum. That's the legal minimum. Let's be thankful, because over here in Korea, you get some 36.5s. Same in Japan, 37. Okay, let's give it a whiff. Before we check out the nose, we'll have a short word from the YouTube sponsors here. Welcome back. Tomintoul 10-year-old Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey. Well, isn't that interesting? It's called the Gentle Dram. But it certainly has a real interesting depth to it. I'm guessing they use a little bit of peat in their regular range. There's a slight saltiness to this, which is interesting. Some rich caramels. For fruits, I'm getting pear especially. Very ripe pear. Almost overripe pear. Or maybe like the Asian pears, which are often called apple pears. That little bit of hint of peat there. And spice-wise, some ginger. Maybe a little bit of raisin. I'm wondering if they use a little bit of sherry casks in this. What kind of casks do they use for this? I'm thinking it's a mix of bourbon and sherry. Well, it looks like I'm wrong. It looks as though the 10-year-old actually has been matured exclusively in ex-bourbon casks. So then that must be the particular distillate, the new make, that's making it have that little bit of a raisin kind of a flavor, or scent I should say, that's coming through. This smells much more like a traditional single malt Scotch whiskey. Something that, everybody would recognize, that everybody can enjoy. That little hint of peat is making it very much a kind of traditional style. And I wonder about the maturation, and also I wonder about the fermentation process of this whiskey. Oh, here comes Rocky. Hey, Rocky. Come here, boy. Come. Oh, come here, Rocky. All right. Well, Rocky decided to join us. So, Rocky, how are you? You gonna sit around for a little bit of whiskey? Eh? Let's see what I've got here. What do you think of that one? Oh, well, he's not crazy about it. Rocky? What do you think? No, he does not like this one. Well, he's pretty picky about his whiskey. I am too, but I sure do like many different kinds, don't I? All right, Rocky, you sit down there. That's a good boy. Up there. Well, it's time to taste this now. Let's get into that, shall we? Cheers, everyone. Interestingly, I do get also some raisins in the palate, so that's interesting. It's very fruity. Perhaps slightly younger than ideal. At 10 years old, it's pretty good, but it certainly has a tiny little bit of a youthful tang to it. And that slight bit of peat comes through in the palate as well. Now, interestingly, it's got quite a long finish for a 10-year-old. Very long, not very dry, sweetness, tiny bit of tartness, not much, more dry than tart, and very fruity sweetness. Ripe fruits, I mentioned the raisins, perhaps a little bit of papaya, kind of cantaloupe, getting to that kind of end of fruits. You're being a little bit of a weird one today, aren't you? Hey? You're all licky, licky, licky. How come you're so licky today? Yeah. Well, I fed you today, like I do every day. Okay, buddy, I gotta finish up this review, so you get going, you go to bed. Go on. Go to bed. Well, a little bit of canine entertainment there. Yes, a very long finish. And it's not the, for some whiskeys it's that dryness that carries on in the finish. For this one, it's the sweetness. It leaves your mouth very, very sweet in a pleasant way. Very good finish. Right now, the only weakness here is the palate seems a little bit on the young side. Let's see what a little bit of water does. Just a couple of drops. At 40%, we really don't need much more. Price-wise, this is a very reasonable whiskey. I see that it is something like 25 pounds, 24 pounds. All right, well, let's try that now with water. The peat has subsided and you really just got a fruit event here, and it's a mixture of fresh pears as well as ripe ones and a little bit of dried raisins. And I mentioned the papaya and the mango in there. And yes, with water, the palate really comes through here. So I prefer the palate now with water. This one seems to want a couple of drops of water. And the finish? Again, it's got that nice long sweet finish. Vanilla and caramel and the fruit all mixed together. Very nice. Excellent finish. Well, that's great. Now let's get on to the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Tomintoul 10-year-old Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey. All right, we'll have a short word from the YouTube sponsors right here. Welcome back. Tomintoul 10-year-old, the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score. What's that going to be? It's going to be 83 out of 100. 83 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Tomintoul 10-year-old. For the price, a very, very good value, I would say. Now, the nose is very nice. The finish is especially good. The palate, but much better with water. A couple drops of water and you've got something very palatable. Great. One more little taste. Oh, and I forgot, there's one more bottle here. What's this? Well, if you've been watching the channel, that you'll know that this is a Korean domestic market brand called Scotch Blue. And it is made by, this one was made by Angus Dundee. And Angus Dundee is the owner of Tomintoul. And this one is a Speyside single malt. Doesn't say what brand it is, but Angus Dundee has Glencadam and Tomintoul. And Tomintoul is the Speyside distillery. So I want to pour a little bit of this one. I will do a separate review of this one. I do quite like it a lot. I like it so much that I went back and I bought 2 more bottles of it. This is no longer made. This came out in 2010. So quite an old bottle. Not that old, but pretty old as far as Korea for single malts. Anyway, so that's that one. Two more years. But I think a definite mix of sherry and bourbon. A much more well-balanced nose. And a very rich, well-matured palate. I have a feeling that these are going to be very similar. So we'll find out about that when I do the review for the 12-year-old Oloroso sherry cask finish. Probably 6 months, 8 months. It says the concluding months matured in Oloroso sherry oak. Well, anyway, so stay tuned for that one. This one, I don't think I'm going to open. That's one of my, one bottle that I have in my collection. I love to look at it. It's really interesting. And someday it will get opened. Who knows when? Who knows where? One day. Anyway, thanks for tuning in for that. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that button right here, right over here. All right, and then don't forget to also click the bell so that you get notified of the new reviews from WhiskyWhistle. That's me, Mark. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you for the next review. There's lots to come. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching WhiskyWhistle. Be sure to subscribe and don't forget to give this video a like and leave a comment down below. Be sure to stay tuned next time to join me, the host of the show, Mark, as I explore more whiskeys with you. Take care now, and we'll see you next time.